Tell us about your company, Horsager Leadership, and tell us about your book.
Okay, the mission of the company is to develop trusted leaders and organizations. When we do that, we feel like we've helped people the most. We've helped them have, I'll talk about it in a little bit, but we believe the single uniqueness of the greatest leaders and organizations of all time is trust. We believe that a lack of trust is your biggest expense. So we help people become more trusted. We know that people, for the trusted brand, people will pay more, come back, tell others. The trusted leader gets followed. The trusted salesperson gets bought from. If people ought to be about any one thing, they ought to be about becoming most trusted by being trustworthy. So the book started the research, really had the epiphany for the book in 2003. I was at a conference working with a company in Tucson, I believe it was. I'm at the Lowe's Resort. I'm looking up at the stars. My wife is with me for that little while. And I just started talking to her that evening. I said, I think the issue and the challenges and the problems that these companies are having is not the problem that they think they are. It's actually a trust problem. So I started intuitively in 2003, really start to think about trust. Then I started the research on it, did all my graduate research on trust. And now we do, case studies and continue to do research out of Horsager Leadership on fundamentally two things. One, I started the research back in my grad work with how trust, does it really affect the bottom line like I think it does? Does trust really affect costs and attrition and all those productivity and efficiencies and effectiveness like I think it does? Turns out that's true. There's nothing that affects costs and revenue more than trust. Secondly, then I wanted to say, how does someone build it? How does an organization build it? How does a brand build it? And that's where the 8-pillar framework came from. Is it just so simple like people think? Is it just honesty? Is it just, integrity? Turns out that it's not. It's all 8 of these, now we call them pillars, to gaining the trust edge or this advantage of being trusted, but it's all 8. It's not just honesty, not just this or that. So we continue to do we believe fundamentally it's the single uniqueness of the greatest leaders, organizations, brands, CEOs, moms, dads, teachers of all time. How do we do it? This specific, teachable 8-pillar framework, we've seen people have said it saved our marriage. On the other side, people have said it tripled their sales. We don't care what it does. We know it makes people and organizations better. That's what we're about. And that's, of course, what the Trust Edge is about.